Unity and Diversity Talk. My name is Simon Lott. Today I will be coming to you with Born to Run by Christopher McDougall. Running is essential whether you are one year of age or 100 years of age. You don't stop running because you get old. You get old because you stop running. That was one of his quotes in the book. Any quick facts that we're going to say? How many do you know the most? Excuse me. This.
You're good.
Okay. A quick fact. How many of you know what part of your body holds the most bones in your body? Exactly. 25% of all your bones in your body are in your foot. Christopher McDougall, he's a sports writer. He's a person that loves to run. He's a journalist. He served 1 year in high school on a road team that led him to Harvard. He was a mediocre basketball player. He also writes for Men Health and New York Times Magazine. He was hired by Susan Leanne, the major bureau chief of the Associated Press, as an AP New Lesbian correspondent. While reading this book, Christopher McDougall, Born to Run, it has really impacted me. It was very influential, and it made me want to start back to running. Another thing about Christopher McDougall, while running, he developed problems with his feet that led him to get medical help and advice that embarked him on a journey that influenced his life and others. Another fact that I'd like to let you know, perhaps all our troubles, all the violence, obesity, illness, depression, and greed, we can't overcome began when we stopped running as a people. That was another quote from the book. Christopher McDougall's contribution to the field of education is informing those of all ages about the science of running. He's letting us know in this book that running is very sentimental and is very important. While reading Born to Run, I remember it said, in terms of stress relief and sensual pleasure, running is what you have in your life before you have sex. Have you ever think about that? It's very essential.
True.
Think of it. A little baby is born, the first thing you do is running. How many of you think this is true? As Ms. Doctor. With my degree of physical education, I can use McDougall's theory, Born to Run, easily. I can use it in physical education because we are always on the move and doing things involving movement. PE is very active, as we all know. Children are always active. Students in my class setting will realize that, and also realize that active lifestyle is building a healthy lifestyle. Building a healthy lifestyle will help lower obesity and so much more. But before I continue, what do y'all consider a healthy lifestyle?
60 minutes of exercise a day.
60 minutes, that's good.
Every day. Eating well.
Eating well.
No
Anyone?
drugs. No drugs.
No drugs.
No alcohol.
Yeah.
Watching your carbon footprint.
Man, y'all are awesome. Y'all hit them all. We have to learn the consequences of our behaviors to help our health. This would involve how we diet, sleep, exercise, as y'all said, how our chemical substances affect our body, and when we are informed of these things, we then can make educated choices. When you maintain a healthy lifestyle, there are many positive outcomes for you. And you will see it in things such as school, work, recreation activities, and even relationships. When you have a healthy lifestyle, you will pretty much succeed in whatever you do. I will let my class know and realize that good nutrition and diet, healthy sleeping habits, daily exercise, safe sexual practices, eliminating unhealthy habits, and abuses such as cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, things like that, got eliminated to have a healthy lifestyle. As I look back over my life, I've eliminated smoking myself. That was a bad habit I gained starting up around my sophomore, junior year. Just something I was just trying to kick it with everybody else. So that's one of my habits I had to let go. When I reflect back, when I finished reading this book, I realized, when I finished reading Born to Run, when I finished reading this book, I realized that it really inspired me to want to make time to run. I thought of the Tarahumara Indians, how they could run 50 to 200 miles easily and enjoy it with no shoes. I believe that when I do start teaching my physical education, these people Christopher McDougall spoke about will be in the back of my mind, and motivation will move on from me to my students. By then, I know my lazy couch potato days, we all have those days where we just little couch potatoes. And all those days will be done, and I'll be able to influence my students from them looking at me. My students will see me and strive for improvement from my experience and from my wisdom of running. I researched Christopher McDougall's theory about running. It was a lot of talking about how the Tarahumara people, they're Indians, they could run forever. And they didn't have any shoes. And with today's study, I'm going to let you know later on in this speech, teaching, I'll research my own ever since the boom of the running shoe in the industry about 30 years ago. The percentage of runners who get injured has remained pretty much the same. But latest studies suggest that anything between 40 and 70% of runners are injured every year. And fascinatingly, 1989, a study found runners who ran in shoes costing more than $95 actually were twice as likely to get injured, more than runners who wore shoes only $40. This was a study I found, and I found that very interesting because they're saying that the shoes they're wearing now that cost everybody $120, they're saying the cushion and kind of throw your body off balance, and they're really not good. So pretty much flat platform shoes are pretty much good for running. I recall my track shoes back in high school. They was pretty busted up, but I never had any problems with it. My coach, he tried to give me some new track shoes once, but I loved them and all, but they made my ankle hurt, my knees hurt sometimes, and I always went back to my old shoes that he first gave me at the beginning of the season. Have anybody ever bought an expensive pair of shoes and experienced that?
Yes.
So we all experience expensive shoes really don't help us, but they pretty much hurt us in the long run. Another thing is when I found in the National Board of Professional Teaching Standards, I will be able to commit to my students by teaching them all I know of running, techniques of running, and be sure that they are learning the material I have to make sure that they are interpreting what I'm saying, interpreting the techniques I'm teaching, and pretty much know how to get from point A to point B. I will know in my field of physical education, my expertise, and let my students know what I'm expecting. I expect for them not to give up. I expect them to strive to be better than yesterday. I expect for them to at least try, don't give up. Giving up is not in my vocabulary. I will set standards for them all, and they will be reachable goals. No one is a failure in PE. PE is something that we all can do. It don't matter what size you are, big, small, handicapped. We can all do something in PE. This book has brought so much to mind that, it's one of those books that make you want to be influenced and want to do more. As long as my students give their all, I'm a happy coach. I will manage and monitor their progression on charts. I will keep them motivated to be better than yesterday. Every day is a new day. Yesterday is gone, and there will be improvement. And if not, we will get better every day. I will systematically learn from my experience, from previous classes. What I do wrong, I will learn from it, and I will help build students up. And teaching my former PE class will help me advance my teaching skills. As I have, when I once playing football, I know I advanced my skills. Every practice, you try to be better than yesterday, like I said earlier. I'll have my students strive to finish. Once again, back to the beginning, you don't stop running because you get old. That was a quote in this book. You don't stop running because you get old. You get old because you stop running. As the handout I gave you, it was a research for barefoot running. It was a barefoot running debate. Some of the researchers, such as, if you look right below research on barefoot running debate, Van Lanner, she's the director of track and field for the University of Oregon, 7-time NCAA Coach of the Year. She said she can't prove this, but she believed when her runners train barefoot, they run faster and they suffer fewer injuries. Barefoot runners, the Tara Umarow, they were barefoot. They pretty much had flat bottom shoes, and they were pretty good runners. They could run for miles, and that just awed me. I was at shock. Dr. Mercer Rain, he's a legendary orthopedic surgeon and researcher. I'm not going to read through all these for you. I just want to hit some of the good ones I like. Shoes do more. I like this one a lot. Shoes do more for you, do more for the foot than a hat does for the brain.
No more. They do no more for the foot than.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shoes do more like this. I'm sorry.
Cool. Cool.
This is some visual aid for you. Y'all can look through this. It is very, very, this is some very good research I found. And one surprising advantage the Tara seem to have on page 2, that's where I'm at now. One surprising advantage the Tara Umarow seems to have had, they lack technology. There was a few Tara Umarow people that they stepped out of the traditional diversity of their culture and tried to come into the real world. They were curious about the real world. So maybe one, his name was Arthur. They got these weird names.
You can give it to us later.
Yes, I will. A shoe should, at the end of that reading, a shoe shouldn't be a lazy boy recliner. Shoes nowadays, when Nike first started making shoes, their shoes were nice. But as they advance, trying to correct, they actually made it worse. Born to Run is very influential. It will make you want to run, and it will be very influential to you. I will help my class, and I will strive to be diverse, and I always strive to finish. Thank you.
Everybody feel that.